YouTube, what's going on? This preacher. Well, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. So, Proverbs 16:9 says, a man's heart plans his way, but God directs his path. Getting out here inside this trucking, I always used to tell people when I was running kitchens that if your heart is into it, you can become great. Anything that your heart is into, you're going to try your best. Why? Because you really have a passion for this. And if you really want to get good at it, you're going to study. Like the Bible says, to study to show thyself approved, right? So your heart is into doing trucking or anything. You can take out trucking and insert anything else into it. Now you make a plan on how you're going to accomplish that. But your heart is into it. And because your heart is into it, you're going to give it your everything. You're going to take advice from sound people. You're going to do some research on it, what you want to do. And nowadays of the internet is good. You know, I'm only 47, but when I was coming up, we had encyclopedias. You know, we had to use encyclopedias, and everybody didn't have an encyclopedia. So sometimes they had to go to a library or some other source where they could source this information and find out a lot of stuff. We had to actually read. We had to read on every single thing we had to do. Now it's a little bit easier with the age of social media and the age of internet and having access to the World Wide Web. So you can get a lot of different people's perspectives on things that you're trying to do because your heart is into it. But if you're doing things within God's will, and that's what God's will has for you, then he's going to direct your paths. You doing all the studying, you gaining the knowledge, God's going to show you how to use that knowledge that you have gained for his benefit and your benefit. Okay, because everything that God gives you, he said he given every person a gift, and it's for him and his kingdom first. Then it trickles down to you. Okay, so sometimes when you realize what you are doing and the knowledge and everything that you are doing, how are you going to use that knowledge and things that you are doing in God's kingdom? And it could just be the education. It could be as a living testimony to others. Because you are serving God and putting God first, he is allowing all this stuff to happen in your life and all these blessings in favor in your life. And people are seeing your walk with God and how you are succeeding, and God is opening up doors, blessing you. Maybe that example that is putting forth towards you is going to motivate someone else. Hey, well, what God is this person serving? Maybe I need to learn a little bit more about what this person is doing, seeking, so I can better myself as well. So God can be allowing things and you gaining knowledge and you doing things within his will so you could be a light unto the world. So other people get to see what's going on with you, and maybe you could be a blessing to others. Because everything that God gives you is really not for you, it's for others. You're going to be blessed by it, but it's really for others. You know, so when you coming out here in trucking, and if that's really on your heart, you need to put forth the work. And if you start to get conflicting information about something you're trying to do a little bit more studying about it. You know, let me do a little bit more. Let me research just a tad bit more. Now, one person downfall don't mean you gonna go down too, because this one particular person goes down. It may not be in that person's season. It may be your season. You know, what, 90% of people who start their authority fail within the first year. But nobody's being truthful why they failed. They failing, and they say it didn't work out, it wasn't no loads. They say all this other particular stuff, but if you never went through it yourself, you don't really know, right? You just listening to what other people is saying, but maybe they didn't have the drive like you have the drive. When people say, well, because when you first start off, there's only like a couple of brokers that can work with you. Well, if you know that starting off, plan on that, right? Person who fails to plan to fail. So if you already know that, do some research on it. Get a load board. A lot of people have click my link, you can get a 30-day free trial, or this particular load board, that particular load board. Take the 30-day thing, get on the load board, act like you got a truck, and go with those brokers that you could get. I can tell you three off rip that I started off with: C.H. Robinson, TQL, Uber Freight. Off rip, right? So can you last the 90 days on those 3 load boards and make money and still be profitable, right? Until after 3 months, now you can sign on with other brokers. So now you can go from 3 to 6, right? Because you can sign on to other brokers now. So now you got 6, but if you was making money off of 3, surely you're going to be okay with 6, right? Because now you at 3 months. Then once you get to 6 months, now you got even more brokers that you could do. But if you can make it happen off of 3, you should be able to make it happen off the rest of the brokers that are out there. But if you know this and you know you're not going to get the best rates, that's why you planning. So did they not plan correctly, and that's why they failed within their first year? Was they doing all the paperwork right? Did they pass their safety audit? Was they filing all the stuff that they're supposed to have been filing throughout that time? Filing your IFTA, filing your MC 150? Are they filing things correctly, like they're supposed to be filing things correctly? How can you say that it's no money out here? You saying there's no money out here, but somebody else is saying that there are money out there, that they making money. I showed my receipts. I showed my receipts plenty of times. I'm so tired of showing my receipts to people. To me, it is what it is. I already showed you. I done showed you what I was making per month. I done showed you what I was making per week. If you can't grasp the concept that it is possible, I don't know what else to do. You could do more research, but just know that, hey, it is possible for you to get out here, start your authority, and make some money. It is. Do the research. Talk with some people. Listen to some people. And some real people who's out here doing it. You know, I mean, plan on doing it. Me, I make sure whatever I'm doing is in the will of God. That there's God. Listen, hey God, wherever your God is, okay, whatever your God is, I don't care who your God is, who you worship. You don't believe in gods, you know, whatever your beliefs is, pull towards that belief. Mine is God. There's only one God, and I got God, the Holy Ghost, and I got Jesus. All right, I got Jesus. So that's who I pull on. All right, that's who I pull on for my strength. That's who I believe in. So whatever you believe in, whoever you believe in, pull on them for that help. You know, it is possible. It is really possible, but you have to do the work. Is the work easy? No, the work is not easy. But you can do the work. You do the work, stay the course. Long as you putting God first ahead, you're gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right. You have to believe that, hey, it's gonna be all right. How can some people get out here and they okay, and other people fail? Maybe it was not for that person who failed. They're not gonna tell you the truth. They're gonna tell you the story, but it's their story. But is it the true story? Why they didn't fail? They're not gonna say it's paperwork you have to do. throughout the time. You have to pass a safety audit inspection test. Did they pass their safety audit? I can show you how I passed mine. It shows you, you know, safety audit. It says pass right there on it. Did they pass theirs? If you don't pass, then you get on probation, right? And then they're going to check you again. They're going to tell you, hey, you messing up on this. You need to do this. And then we're going to check back with you. Now they're going to check back with you again. And if you didn't satisfy what they checked back with you with, then they're going to shut your authority down. Now they done shut down, and now they're going to be like, well, because they shut their authority down, hey, you know what, I decided to go ahead and close my authority. It just ain't no Lowe's out here. They just ain't making no money. I'm out of Florida, and I'm making money. Out of Florida. Everybody know Florida is bad rates. Everybody know Florida is bad rates. And I make plenty of money. I am not making any excuses. I have breakdowns just like everybody else had breakdowns. I checked my truck out. Y'all saw how I checked my truck out. I bought it from a dealership. They checked it out. I had an independent person come to the dealership to check the truck out. He found a couple problems. The dealership said, hey, we'll fix all these problems on it before you buy it. I said, no, that's okay. Just give me $3,000 off. And then I'm going to have the person who checked out the truck that found these problems, I'm going to give the business to him. Because then I know he's going to really fix it like he's supposed to fix it, right? It ain't gonna be the dealership just put a band-aid on it. No, he's really gonna fix it. So I did what you're supposed to do, starting off everything right. Saved the money, had the money, and I started everything off right. God said, hey, no, do this, do this, do this. Okay, no problem. No, God will say, no, I want you to do this. No, you need to make sure you do this. I'm like, man, I really don't want to spend this some money though, man. God was like, no, you better spend this some money. So I'm listening to God as he's directing me on what to do and how to do what I am doing. So you have to be obedient. I would say obedient is more than sacrifice. So you have to be obedient. So you just can't be like, hey, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. And it's not the plan. Stick with your plan. I got another story about the plan because I got to tell you about one of my friends who wanted to sign on his 8 trucks onto my authority. But that's going to be another video. Okay? Okay. Y'all have a great day.